What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Redemption with Jaden, and happy Thanksgiving to you all. If it is past Thanksgiving by the time you're watching this, I guess that's okay. I'll forgive you for not watching my video the day it came out, because it probably means you were spending time with family or, doing other more important things. But I just want to say that I'm very thankful for all of you who are watching. Thank you for, putting the time in to take in some content for this game, and thank you to all of you who also put out content. Thank you to all of you in the Redemption community who helped make this game so great, and I'm thankful for all the friends that I've made through this game, and I'm excited to keep on playing and keep on having fun and keep on building combo decks like this. That's another thing I'm thankful for. I think this was a lot of fun to build and pretty fun to play. So let's go ahead and dive into it. This is what I've been calling Rabshakeh's Arrogance, because it kind of mimics the old school Arrogance, as you can see over here. For those of you who aren't aware, this was an evil enhancement from the Patriarch set that says holder may play as many evil enhancements as desired. Initiative passes when holder is done playing enhancements. Now, unfortunately, under the current rules, this doesn't quite work as intended. My understanding is that it's kind of like a banding enhancement. So if I were to play Destroying Bands, for instance, over here, it says character may band any number of evil OT humans. What you do is you choose all of the evil OT humans that you are wanting to band into battle, and then you start activating their abilities. My understanding is that under the current rules, old school Arrogance here works the same way, where you basically play all of the enhancements, or you have all of the enhancements out, or you put them in battle, I guess, all the ones that you want to play, and then you start activating their abilities. They just, there's not really a game mechanic or rule, I guess, in place for just like not having to pass regular initiative, or like, using numbers and that kind of stuff. It back when it, did work kind of the way that it was intended, or that we wanted, that was how it worked. You could just keep on playing enhancements, and then regardless of the numbers. And of course, if there was special initiative, then that would pass initiative, but otherwise you could just keep on playing, which, it never really, in my experience, it never really took off much. I did, like, I guess by the time that I was trying to, do fun stuff with it, I think is when, or at least around when the rule was kind of, realized, and then was like, oh yeah, this doesn't actually work the way that it should. Maybe some of you other OGs out there have some arrogant stories of like actually being able to use it in a useful way, but that was not my experience. But it always was a cool concept, and I kind of stumbled across a combo that emulates the effect of Arrogance, which I think is pretty fun. So that is what we're going to be doing with this massive oddity of a deck here. As you can see, we've got plenty of evil enhancements to play, and we're not going to be passing initiative anytime soon. So, I mean, I guess technically we do pass initiative, but we just hope the opponent doesn't have anything to play, because it's going to be stalemate in most cases. So, how are we going to do this? So the Rabshakeh LOC evil character here has a taunt identifier, which means that you can begin a battle on your turn with this evil character in place of a regular battle, rescue attempt or battle challenge begun with the hero. And it has an ability that says you may equip an evil weapon from reserve, or take a pale green enhancement from reserve. We're going to be equipping an evil weapon from reserve, which is going to be this brand new Israel's Inheritance weapon here, Snatch Spear, which says if used by a lone OT warrior, which the Rabshakeh is and will be, or will be and is, will be alone and is OT, also a warrior. Then you can choose a human of opposite alignment to oppose bearer. So basically, it's like any other choose the blocker hero. except this is going to be an evil character. You're going to be able to begin the battle with this character and then choose the hero that your opponent blocks your taunt with. It's not actually blocking, but you know what I mean. And so that it also works without being on the taunt. You can do it during a normal block, but this is just a kind of more reliable way to do it because it gives you a little more flexibility doing the prep phase stuff to get the setup, and then not have to worry about your opponent having counters or answers or whatever that you don't have an opportunity to deal with during something like a prep phase. So and also I guess doing it on your turn is just better for like dominant initiative and that kind of stuff. So we're going to be trying to do this on my turn, but you can do it all during a block. And the hero that you're going to want to choose then is one that is protected and unlikely for your opponent to have enhancements for. Those are kind of the two criteria. Once you get to that point, then your opponent will get initiative, but it'll be stalemate, so you'll just be able to keep on playing enhancements. And the idea of this deck is just to never run out of enhancements to play. So how do we get to the point where our opponent has a hero that is going to be protected and also that they likely don't have enhancements for? Well, we have 3 options for heroes. We have 3 heroes that are options, and then also one kind of 1 in a million sort of option, maybe 1 in 100, maybe 1 in 50. I don't know. But so the first of our 3 heroes here is Esther the Courageous, who protects OT human heroes from evil cards. This one works really well. There is a downside, though, where she says if opponent plays an evil card with negated in the special ability, discard an evil human. So we have to be a little bit careful because we do have some evil cards that we like to play that have negated in the special ability, namely Foreign Wives and Love of Money. Other than that, nothing else cannot be negated because most of the effects that we are wanting to play give you a lot of value, and effects that have a lot of value typically cannot be negated. Can't be negated. But Love of Money and Foreign Wives are both fairly important for making sure that we can play all of these enhancements, since the Rabshakeh is only pale green. So it can be a little bit tricky if Esther is the target. You have to kind of play around that a little bit. Love of Money you can play in territory, so that's one way to do it. You just place it on the Rabshakeh before going into battle. And Esther can also be interrupted. So if you interrupt the battle with, say, like a Mask of Fear, draw 3, play an evil enhancement, then you can play Love of Money while her ability is interrupted, and then the trigger won't catch the fact that you've played a card with negated in the special ability. Similarly, if in order to get Foreign Wives into battle, you can interrupt the battle with Lurking, or send for Egyptians, or interrupt it with like a Mask of Fear and then play Clinging to Power or something like that, assuming that you have Army of a Million Men in battle or Zera in order to be able to play Clinging to Power. So it's not the worst, not the end of the world kind of situation. You just have to be aware of that, where if I just play Clinging to Power to bring Foreign Wives into battle without interrupting Esther's ability, then if your opponent's kind of putting the pieces together, they can just get the trigger on Esther to discard Foreign Wives, unless I guess if they've drawn 5 or more cards this turn, that could work, because then she would be protected from Esther. But other than that, the outside of that situation, I guess, then they could just discard Foreign Wives, and you're back to not being able to play necessarily all of the enhancements. I guess if you have Army of a Million Men, you actually can play all of the enhancements in here, because I built the deck such that I only had pale green, crimson, gray, and gold, I guess, as unique brigades. Like if you can play all of those, then you can play all of the enhancements in the deck. So Army of a Million Men also works. So Foreign Wives isn't necessary, but Foreign Wives is the easiest one to get to and add to battle, because Murderous Command also helps with that. So that's another, I guess, situation in which you can get Foreign Wives into battle, where Esther would be a problem if you add a battle with Murderous Command. But anyway, I also have Abram the Blameless. He's protected from evil OT humans. all of our evil characters are evil OT humans, except for Deceiver, which is usually not going to stay in battle if it comes into battle. So that's perfect. But he does negate lost souls, and part of kind of keeping the flow going with the evil enhancements, we have to draw into them and get other resources, and part of that can be through lost souls like Shepherds and Grumbled, Prosperity, and Lawless. So if he's negating lost souls, that shuts down some of our value potential. However, that could also be a good thing because this deck also plays Harvest Time, and if Abram is in battle and I play Harvest Time, I can get all the lost souls out of my opponent's deck. They'll all be negated, so no chance of them disrupting, or my goings on, the things I'm trying to do with something like a Disoriented. So that could be beneficial in that way. So maybe Abram is kind of the optimal target if you do have a way to, or like if I've already gotten a lot of my lost souls out, for instance. But it's that's kind of a situational, I guess, benefit. Let's see. Yeah, and the reason I want to get the lost souls out of their deck is that so I can do more damage with mill cards like Famished and Pharaoh's Dream, Slave to Egypt, Turn to Egypt. That's basically the point of playing all these evil enhancements, is to get a lot of value, a lot of resources, and then also do a lot of damage. And so as I go through the enhancements here, we'll kind of talk about each of those categories, how we're going to get value, how we're going to do damage, but a lot of that's probably already fairly clear. All right, the next third hero that we have here is probably not one that you expected to see in a deck ever again, probably, but this is Joshua the High Priest, the alter ego of Jeshua the Restorer. And this guy says, if a silver hero is in play, protect this hero from pale green. What do you know? The Rabshakeh is pale green, and so are most of our other evil characters and evil enhancements and all that. So if Joshua is the target, there's two downsides, I guess, to Joshua. You have to have a silver hero in play. So I do have a few of them: Defender of the Saints, Captain, and 4 living creatures. However, and I guess he can also trigger off of your opponent having a silver hero in play, but it can be tricky to actually make sure that it just adds another piece, I guess, to have in place. And then the other downside is that he's only protected from pale green, which means that if I banned in more than one of my non-pale green evil characters, then Joshua would be losing by the numbers, and I wouldn't be able to keep playing enhancements. Fortunately, I have, of the 3 non-pale green evil characters that are actually going to stay in battle, I'm not counting Malachite Slave here, but Army of a Million Men, Zera, and then Philistine Raiders. Of all of those 3 have a strength less than 8, which means that as long as I don't actually play any enhancements on them, if I play the enhancements only on my pale green characters, then Joshua, his toughness of 8 is going to keep him alive against those. The strength, maybe it's a little bit confusing how protection works against characters where you're protected from some and not others. Basically, the strength of the characters and the enhancements used by those characters that you're protected from is counted as 0. The ones that you're not protected from still add up. So if as long as I only have one of them in battle at a time, then Joshua would be okay. So, all right, those are the 3 heroes that you can use to be protected from. The other kind of edge case that might happen once in every large amount of games is Foreign Wives could be converted, and then as long as you can trigger the drawn 5 or more cards portion of her ability, which is a little bit tough, but with like Prosperity or Shepherds and Grumbled, you could pull it off. However, it's not likely. I guess also Mayhem could do it, but let's say that your opponent attacks you with Matthew on turn 1. You go to Foreign Wives with your number of ways to get to an Egyptian, whether it be Dread, Malachite Slave, Deceiver, Foreign Wives herself, Murderous Command. There's actually a decent number of ways to do it, even in this big deck. If your opponent happens to have Love One Another to convert Foreign Wives regardless of protect abilities, then there you go. You have a Foreign Wives hero that if you can figure out a way to get to your opponent, then you can choose her to attack. So that brings us to the next step in this somewhat complicated process, but hear me out here. The next step is getting the protected hero to your opponent. We have two ways to do that: Stocks of Flax and Tribute. Stocks of Flax is maybe the easier one in the sense that it doesn't protect the hero afterwards for the turn. So Stocks of Flax is just a straight up exchange. You get one of your opponent's heroes. The downside is your opponent has to have at least one hero in their territory for you to exchange with. For an exchange, you have to have a target on both sides. So if they don't have any heroes, you can't give them any of yours. So that's a little bit of a downside, but we're doing this combo on turn 2 anyway. As you can see, Snatch Spears in reserve. So the earliest we can do it is turn 2. That's kind of the goal. And despite all of these pieces that I'm talking about, and it may be seeming a little bit complicated, it actually happens with a fair amount of consistency to be able to do this on turn 2, especially if you're able to go first. I guess going second is maybe also... Oh, yeah, I guess going second would probably be more likely because you get another draw phase, but going first is ideal because then your opponent has only had one turn and your kind of capacity for damage is a little bit higher and they have less to interact with. So it's a little bit tricky to get it on the second turn going first, but that is the ideal situation if you're able to do that. So in order to get to, well, let's see, and then there's Tribute. That one's easier. It doesn't have the downside, I guess, of your opponent having to have a hero. However, it does require a way to get around the protection or for you to wait a turn. So if you are able to use Tribute on the first turn to give your opponent one of these 3 heroes, then you can wait till your second turn and then they'll no longer be protected. However, that does give your opponent a turn to be rude and bounce it with 20 shekels or do something else to the hero while it's in their territory. So that's not ideal. Ideally, we wait until the second turn or my second turn in my prep phase. I can set it up with Tribute, give it to my opponent, and then they are protected from harm this turn. However, we do have the Wicked Lost Soul to make the special ability on the first evil enhancement. You play each battle regardless of protect abilities. So that means that if we go to battle and use the Rabshakeh to equip Snatch Spear is going to be regardless of protect abilities and can help us get through the protection from Tribute. It would be nice if Tribute just said like protect from evil cards or protect from, from opponents or something like that. But it is protect from harm, which means that the numbers on cards still could defeat your character. If it was just protect from opponents, then as long as we use Tribute in the same turn, then we could just do this with any hero whatsoever, and that would be pretty sweet. But unfortunately, the card is fairly fair and balanced, and it doesn't work that way. So we can get around the protection from harm though with Snatch Spear, and then the opponent is still protected from harm from all of our other enhancements, but we're not really planning to harm the hero in battle. In fact, it's best if we don't. So the protection there could be kind of nice if there is a situation where harm might come upon it without our hoping to. But anyway, those are the 2 ways that we can get one of those heroes over to our opponent. And there's a few ways for us to get these artifacts out, namely Delivered and Offering Your Son can get to either of them. And of course, the artifacts themselves. And then also Bearers of the Ark can activate Stocks of Flax from the deck. So as long as I have one of the heroes in territory and my opponent has at least one hero in their territory, I can attack with Bearers of the Ark and do the exchange with Stocks of Flax. Unfortunately, that just means that I'm going to have to keep the hero there for a turn, or if I have ambushed the city, if I just happen to be fortunate enough to have gotten into ambush the city or had a way to search for it, like Crowd's Choice or whatever, then you can end the battle in a stalemate once they block Bearers of the Ark. If you have the opportunity to play ambush the city, you can end the battle and then begin a new battle, which could be a taunt battle with the Rabshakeh, equip Snatch Spear, choose voila. There you go. So that is kind of a little cute aspect of it. I'm not really sure if that should be in here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some potential for change before we get into the actual game here. But I'll try to be brief with this, kind of wrapping up. As you can see, that's pretty much where the combo ends up, is that we have the hero over there. Rabshakeh chooses the hero. We're protected. These heroes are teal, blue, and purple and white, which means that they're not clay and not green and not gold. So like those are the kind of main brigades that people are playing these days. Once you do figure out what they're playing, then you might have to adjust a little bit. But that's really one of the main benefits of Joshua the High Priest being an option, is that, teal enhancements are going to be kind of the least frequent here. So the rest of the offense is just kind of built to do a little bit of setup on turn one, and then be able to finish out the game after we've done all of our damage with the taunt battle. So 4 living creatures for the protection is kind of nice, but can also play Delivered and Offering Your Son and our gold enhancements and philosophy. So kind of just made sense. It's also a silver hero for Joshua purposes. Bearers of the Ark, we mentioned that, to activate Stalks of Flax. Esther, also Bearers of the Ark, is a Joshua hero, so we can get more value with Captain. Defender of the Saints can exchange 2 Bearers of the Ark to activate Stalks of Flax, and then also as part of the end game, where Defender of the Saints can go to reserve for the Trumpeting Priests to just start grabbing a couple of battle winners that we have in here. God is with you and Crumbled from a Shout. With all the damage that we've done with the defense, the idea or hope, I guess, is that the opponent doesn't really have much defense left, and so just having big numbers with maybe a couple of battle winners should be enough to clean things up. But if not, well, then you might just be looking at a sort of stalemate situation, or maybe you just win by having the big 2, and after having milled their big 2. So, there's always that. But timing out is one of the things that might be a struggle for this deck if you were to play it in a real live tournament. And that was actually, I'll talk about what could change in order to fix that possibility. Abram is also kind of nice to finish things out. Captain is nice. Big numbers are good, which is also why Zerubbabel is in here, because he's a big numbered gold hero that, as long as your opponent doesn't have battle winners, you basically just need to beat them by the numbers, whatever evil characters they have left, that is. So I've got Amazing Faith, Ambush the City. I guess it's numbers if you need to, or you can, maybe they only have 1 evil character left, and so you just need to play that to make it so that they can't block with that same character again if it's unique. So that there are flexible ways that it can be used later in the game. And then, of course, these 2 as well. Zerubbabel also has the benefit of being a good first turn attack, because for 1, you can accelerate a little bit by getting a draw 2. And 2, you can put Joshua the High Priest into play because he is a post-exilic hero. So we're just playing posties. It's fine. So that is one of the ways to get the heroes out. And like I was saying, this is actually fairly consistent. Like I didn't do enough test draws to really have significant data, but I would say like roughly 50% of the time, you could probably pull it off on turn 2 going first. So, I mean, with 3 heroes to choose to attack, Zerubbabel to be able to put them into play, in theory, Defender of the Saints could go to Joshua, and then you just hope that your opponent doesn't block. Maybe they don't have any lost souls, so they just don't accept a battle challenge on turn 1. I don't know. There's just a number of ways that things can work out, but you are going to have to get a little lucky in some cases in order to pull it off on turn 2. So that's pretty much what the rest of the offense is going to do, and how we're going to try to close out games. And then everything else beyond the setup and beyond closing things out, it's all dedicated toward that one battle where you go in with the Rabshakeh and you get to just play everything. at least hopefully. So that's why we have kind of 3 categories of evil enhancements here. This first category are the draw enhancements. So pretty much everything that draws me a somewhat significant number of cards has been included as an evil enhancement here. So we've got a lot of these draw 2s, which we have most of the weapons in the brigades that we want to use. So foreign horses, Egyptian chariots, swift horses, 2,000 horses. And then we also have 3 of the masks: Mask of Fear, Mask of Vanity, Mask of Pride, and then some drawing enhancements that also can do some damage, like Better to Be Slaves is one of the better ones, although it's also one of the ones that's trickier to kind of keep going with, because by the time you get rolling, you might be taking cards away from your opponent's hand and adding more cards to yours. So this is one that's better to have early if you can. Betrayal is another great one. You can take out a card from their hand or a card in play, like a fortress or something that's you want to deal with, or there are 3 woes or something like that. You can take out Betrayal. Usually you want to go to their hand, clear something out, and then you also get the draw. Heavy Taxes, you get to make them discard a couple cards, and then you get to draw. And then Struggle Against Saul is actually one of the kind of more effective ones, I guess, or like it maybe has the highest potential for resource generation, just because your opponent's probably not going to have 3 heroes, and it's 3 of their heroes. So they even if they do have 3 heroes, they can't discard the one in battle because it's not their hero. They don't own and control it, just control it. So if they are able to discard 3 of their heroes, well, that's not too bad. But if they can't, then you get to shuffle 3 Lost Souls and draw 3. In this case, we kind of want to draw these Lost Souls back, because we're probably going to be shuffling in the Shepherds, or going to shuffle Prosperity and the Grumbled, maybe Dread or Disoriented if we want to move that to something else. So Struggle Against Saul is one that I was like, okay, it's the hardest brigade to play, but it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So having the gray, having the I guess like the Crimson is fairly easy. We've got a decent number of Crimson Evil characters, but the gray is pretty much just going to be Foreign Wives, Love of Money, or Army of a Million Men if we're able to get to it. But we're actually able to get to that pretty easily. If we can get Zara the Ethiopian into battle, then we can get Army of a Million Men into battle, and that means that we have access to gray. Just the way that this defense worked out with the evil characters just kind of felt like perfect. Like it just flowed together really well. Finding Zara and including that was actually felt like the kind of perfect inclusion. You can go search for a weapon, which all the weapons in here draw some cards, so that can kind of keep things going, or help to get the brigades I need in battle to play these other enhancements. Or, well, I guess, and the fact that he's an Egyptian means that he can come into battle with Murderous Command. He can come into battle with Send for Egyptians. I was a little bit disappointed at the fact that Pale Green didn't really have that many good banding evil enhancements, that just kind of generically banned, destroying bands wasn't in Pale Green. So Send for Egyptians was kind of the only mass banding Pale Green evil enhancement, other than the no, that's pretty much it. I was thinking of the gold band to Egyptians one, or band of magicians or whatever, summoning, I don't know, whatever, summoning magicians or something like that. So I guess that brings us to the next column here, which is going to be kind of value generation, and also that's through banding as well. So first of all, Love of Money is going to be fairly important. Make sure that, or it's kind of one of the options, I guess, to make sure that I can play all of the enhancements and kind of keep the flow going. So if I can place that on the Rabshakeh, then we're in good shape. And I just have to watch out for triggering Esther. The other way to make sure I can play all the enhancements I want to play are through cards like Lurking and Send for Egyptians and Clinging to Power, which can all go to Foreign Wives and Army of a Million Men. They can all go to Zara, or I guess Send for Egyptians can't go to Army of a Million Men, but can go to Zera, who can go to Army. So that makes certain that I have gray in battle, makes certain that I have gold into battle. But if I'm just able to play Lurking into Foreign Wives or Murderous Command into Foreign Wives, then once I get Foreign Wives into battle, then obviously I can play everything on her as well. Also, the number of Egyptians matters for the Gods of Egypt, which is just another destruction card, which is going to be in the next section, I guess. So we'll wait on that. But so yeah, the banding is important. And then also just the value generation with being able to search out specific cards that I want. The drawing is good, but the searching can be better. Where Clinging to Power can get me something like a Destroying Bands that will let me ban in more evil characters that can draw cards, or I can get the evil character that I want to ban to or something like that, and the flexibility to either add to battle or to just put it in hand and then underdeck Clinging to Power and maybe draw into it again through the course of things. Same thing with Wages of Sin, where having the ability to go for like one of the mill cards or to bring in Grief in reserve to deal with something in their hand, things like that. It's just the great flexibility. Seems like it fits really well with the deck, and then also can just continue to be recycled. False Peace is great for being able to find one of your kind of interactive draw 3 cards like Betrayal or Better to Be Slaves, or just the right evil character. Or I guess it can't get Love Money because that's New Testament, but it can get Foreign Wives and then help you get to ways to add her to battle. So that is going to be the kind of other like additional means of value enhancements, and then the rest is the disruption part of things. So of course we have Confusion here to snipe something, but before we do that, we want to just try to mill as many cards randomly as we can. So it's going to be 11 cards with these 4 enhancements. We've got Begging to Go Back in reserve to hit 2 more from the top, and then also can activate an OT Curse, which could be given to Egypt. Given to Egypt could also just be used to take out the rest of the heroes in their territory so that we don't have to worry about them having those heroes to generate resources if we mill stuff from the top. So and then I guess the rest is like hand interaction with Philosophy, Heavy Taxes, Betrayal. We already talked about Better to Be Slaves is also kind of an interactive disruption piece, and then bringing Grief. Destroying Bands is kind of in the same value category here with doing the banding. And then as you can see, I've got the basically drawing reinforcements in reserve here with Assyrian Officer, Egyptian Horsemen, and Philistine Raiders. I guess I didn't mention Sennacherib Blasphemes, but that can bring in Mounted Forces or Nimrod the Mighty. Nimrod is great for being able to get the Rabshakeh out early, so on turn 1, hopefully I can go first. I can do an attack to get some value on their turn 1 when they're attacking. Hopefully I can get to Nimrod, and then Nimrod can play the Rabshakeh into my territory to keep him somewhat safe. I don't really want to Deceiver into the Rabshakeh to put the Rabshakeh in battle, because then the Rabshakeh is going to be at risk. I don't really care if my opponent takes out Nimrod, but as long as they leave the Rabshakeh alone so that I can use it for the combo on turn 2, then we'll be pretty good. So Mounted Forces, also kind of nice to just have access to all of these 3 enhancements in the reserve. I guess technically also Snatch Spear in some cases. But Zera and Army of a Million Men can both band in Mounted Forces and get some value there. And they can also band to these 3 in reserve, the kind of reinforcement evil characters that can draw some more cards. So Sennacherib Blasphemes can band to Assyrian Officer if we're able to get Assyrian Officer out with Clinging to Power or something like that. And then also Lurking can just band straight to reserve. So if we band to the Deceiver with Lurking, or if we just band straight to the reserve, we can grab one of these 3 evil characters. Normally I want to grab Assyrian Officer because Murderous Command and Warrior Overtaken can both grab these other 2. So I guess with that, we can kind of add some of these dominants over to the value pile. Warrior Overtaken and Murderous Command are both there to kind of help accelerate, grab the right evil characters that we need. Murderous Command can sometimes be for brigade fixing, Warrior Overtaken can do that as well, because it can enable Betrayal, Clinging to Power, and Wages, even if we just have the Rabshakeh. So that's pretty nice to those three can get you pretty far if you just have access to those. Gods of Egypt and Vain Philosophy then are both on the disruption side of things. Mayhem, of course, can keep things going, but obviously you have to be careful, because if your opponent is able to draw 6 fresh cards, they might draw into a 3 Woes or Angel of the Lord or something else that is going to have the potential to disrupt your combo, your playing of enhancements, disrupt your arrogance, so to speak. And so having Mayhem here to deal with that, or to as kind of a release valve, it's there just to kind of keep things going, and you'll see that it actually comes in handy in the game you're about to witness. Then, of course, we have the big 2 in here, because we got to finish the game at some point. And then Harvest Time, I already mentioned that a little bit, but I mentioned being able to get the Lost Souls out of my opponent's deck, which can be helpful to make sure that the milling hits value, but it also can be good to kind of keep things rolling, because I can put Shepherds into play, I can put Grumbled into play, and that will help me clear out some of the stuff in my hand that I don't really need during a battle. So getting rid of heroes and good enhancements is great, so I can hopefully draw into more evil enhancements. And then, of course, 3 Woes for answering answers, and Crowd's Choice for helping me find whatever I need. I talked about most of the Lost Souls. They're in here to generate value. Aimless is kind of nice, because it can help you. It's just another way to get to Bearers of the Ark, to be able to get to Stocks of Flax early. That's maybe one that could be switched out for something else, but that's where I ended up at. I can also, even if you don't have a Wilderness Human left, if you just need to make space in your hand, because you're reaching hand limit, which is certainly possible here, to kind of max out on cards that you can't do anything with. So like if you've got dominance, or you're drawing in artifacts and heroes and good enhancements, then you could just reserve a card from your hand that you don't need at the time, that maybe you can get back later, and then fail the search for the Wilderness Human. So I felt like, because of that potential flexibility, then it was still worth the slot. Really, the deck is just all in on that. So having a different Lost Soul that was like, Distressed, or Punisher, or something like that, like I didn't really think that was necessary. So I just wanted to be all in with the consistency. And this is how it ended up. 71 cards, which it seems a little hard to believe that that's all in with the consistency. You'd think you'd want to have it as slim as possible. And maybe there is a version where you just play 50 cards. Maybe you can cut the gray, you can cut the gold, and maybe cut that, and maybe you trim back some of the crimson. I don't know, like you can then just cut Love of Money, and then you could get away with like just the Rabshakeh and that stuff. But I feel like that has a little more I don't know, I guess it definitely has a bit lower of a ceiling, where you're just not able to do as much damage, to the point where even if you do kind of get all the way through your stuff, it just might not be enough to guarantee that you take out enough of your opponent's stuff. So you lose kind of some of the hand interaction, like heavy taxes and philosophy, and you lose some of the kind of consistency pieces, like some of the drawing and false peace. But with the smaller deck, maybe you don't need that. But that's something that I would maybe consider testing out. Of course, you also lose 3 of your dominance here, so figuring out what to cut in the Lost Souls and dominance department, or that side of things, might be a little trickier. You maybe don't need all 3 of these heroes then, though. Maybe you could just get away with Abram and Joshua or something like that, and not worry about Esther, because she's purple and white, which are probably the brigades that it's most likely for your opponent to have to be able to play. So that's something to consider. But that is not what I ended up with for this deck, for this version, or this game. So I wanted to try out the full version, and like I was saying with the goldfishing, like I felt like it was consistent enough to give it a whirl. And then one other thing that I would potentially change about the deck, even if I wasn't going to smaller version, even if I was just keeping it this same size, is changing the kind of end game plan. The Trumpeting Priest with the enhancements kind of fits well with the parts of the offense that I want to help set things up. But Jay actually mentioned after the game that, and I ended up cutting out this part of the discussion, so I want to mention it here. After the game, Jay mentioned, like, March using, like, you're using the cross, right? Is basically how he put it, and or like he was assuming that was kind of my end game, and I was like, that might have been better. Like I guess I wasn't really thinking about the fact that once you do this, they're going to be pretty close to decked out. You're probably going to be pretty close to decked out. So if you actually pull it off, then the cross is probably the most efficient win condition. But the downside is having to basically have the upfront space and other ways to, I guess, utilize that. So I think pretty much what I would have to do is we cut Trumpeting Priest, Got Us With You, Crumbled from a Shout from reserve, and we put in like Simon the Zealous, the Cross, Golgotha, and maybe a Battle Winner. And then in the main deck, I think Ambush the City comes out. Captain of the Host probably comes out and gets cut for like, and then these two get cut for like Angel of the Sun and Matthew. There's probably some other cuts, but like that's kind of the general idea. And then maybe Bearers and Defender gets cut, maybe Amazing Faith, and I don't know, like maybe some other or like different acceleration or like consistency stuff goes in there. Like I could see Spirit as a Dove coming in because if I have Matthew, Spirit as a Dove, could that be played to get Crowd's Choice or Second Coming or something like that, or Harvest Time, if need be. So that things like that to maybe help the consistency. And then Matthew, of course, as a turn one option is just pretty good. He's gonna get you into resources that will help to make sure the combo can get off on turn two, and then also he can convert to Meek to maybe get through with the cross. So I think there would be a little bit of kind of managing space and reserve. I might have to cut one or two of the evil cards in here to make that fit, but I think it maybe is a little more reliable as a win condition rather than having to guarantee you actually get through 3 or 4 times, depending on if you need Second Coming for to keep keep going with the combo, or whatever ends up happening there. So that is something that is something to consider for the for any future iterations of the deck, I guess, if you want to try it out. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this deck and the game that I'm about to play. Hopefully you see that it is creative enough for competing, I guess, because I did submit it to the deck building contest hosted by Your Turn Games, which I'll go ahead and bring up here. I've kind of missed the ball, dropped the ball on this one a little bit. I should have mentioned this sooner, that this competition or contest was happening. I should have mentioned this on the channel, I should say. But if you've been paying attention on Discord, Baboony Tim has been advertising it, but Land of Redemption is hosting this deck building contest for November 2024, which suggests that it's supposed to happen or probably going to happen in the future as well, assuming things go well, I guess. And so if you missed out on this one, don't worry if you missed out on submitting for this one, I guess. But you do still have the option, even if you didn't submit, to vote on the most creative and funny Type 1 decks that were submitted. So as you can see here, the link is in the description below. You can go check this out at Land of Redemption. But a bunch of decks were submitted, and there's a Your Turn Games gift card, or there are Your Turn Games gift cards of varying amounts available to those who place according to the voting in first and second place in their creativity, and then also first and second place in their funniness. How funny they are, I guess. So there will be some ranked choice voting. You can go ahead and check that out on the deck building contest article on Light of Redemption. And then there's a link to the voting part, which I can show you what that looks like here. You vote for your first, second, and third choices for most creative deck, and then also for funniest deck. The deck that I submitted was this deck, or the deck that I just showed you, the Rabshakeh's Arrogance. I thought that it was about as creative as anything or probably the most creative deck that I've put on the channel, at least in recent history, because of the combo that is just a little bit crazy. And you might be wondering, does this really actually work? And I was kind of wondering that too. And well, you're just gonna have to wait and see. I guess I'll put it that way. So we're gonna be playing a game with this deck against Jay Chambers for the Lackey Grand Prix Round 2. And before we get into that, of course, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors over at Your Turn Games, and they are also sponsors of the deck building contest. So props to Your Turn Games for just getting involved with things like that in the community. Super fun for that they're able to do that. So you can go show them some love by buying some redemption supplies and gear. If you're in the deck building contest, maybe you should wait a week or so that you can see if you have that gift card to be able to spend. But if you're not, well, you can head over there and you can pick up some Christmas gifts for yourself or for your friends or family. So head on over to Your Turn Games, show them some love, and let's go ahead and get into the game against Jay. All right, set to go.
I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not happy about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. What am I doing?
You have 10 dominance in your deck. That's what.
I mean, maybe.
I rolled a 5.
I also... Wait, no, never mind. I rolled a 3.
Okay, let's see what happens. I will choose after I look at this hand. I would like to go second.
Okay. I haven't any stars.
I have the best one.
Seems good. Okay. I will Shepherds. Draw a card. Drew that one. I will... yeah, I'll exchange something. Let's go and get... Seems like I might want that one eventually. And I'm going to send that card away. All right.
Okay.
Good to go then.
Begin.
Cool. I will just go to battle.
Cool.
I will make a battle challenge with the captain of the host. Draw 1. And I will not band. Would you like to block?
Pick one.
All right. I guess I will... no, I should. Gotta utilize that 1 TC, right? Play Clinging to Power.
Yeah. What you gonna grab?
That's a good question. I haven't gotten that far yet.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited to watch the introduction of this video where you explain why you're playing 71 cards in your deck.
You think you're gonna have to wait till the introduction to find out?
We'll see. Depends on how fast the game goes.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna grab Lurking.
Okay. The original G.
Yeah. And I will put down nothing else, I guess. I'll pass turn.
Okay, I will draw 3 cards. I will use the star ability on Bearing Arsene.
Cool.
Draw 1 more. It's a Lost Soul, because that's my luck of all time. So we will play Wilderness of Cyanide to go to deck.
Mm-hmm.
To take the original G.
Mm-hmm.
Momo the Mighty. We will play Mount Sinai, because fortresses are a card type.
Mm-hmm.
We will get that online, because I just have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be incredibly relevant at some point this game.
Could be.
No, usually is. If a deck's bigger, it means it draws more. And I will put down Samuel Born of Prayer, Obadiah's Hidden 100. Hidden 100 will go to Samuel Born of Prayer. He will do his top of deck thing. And they'll all go back on top, and then I will ban a Moses, which will kick Samuel. And then I have an 18/18, 5 of the numbers attack.
Seems pretty good.
What I was thinking.
I will ask for Dominish.
Sure.
I'm going to play an Evil Woes to negate Momo.
Aw, so Samuel comes back to battle.
And then get a block.
Unfortunately.
Cool. Here's a slave.
Yeah.
And who do we want? That's tempting. That's tempting. I think we'll just go this way. Let's go with Tapanese. And I will... suppose I probably shouldn't draw as much as I'd like to. I'll just negate the hidden 100, I guess. Kick Samuel back out.
Okay.
And then I will reveal your hand.
Cool.
Cool indeed. All right, you got a bowl, grapes. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 brigades.
Yep.
Cool. I will hit your top 4.
All right.
Seems good.
Yeah, just a lot. Okay. I'm going to grapes toppings. I don't want you to ever do that again.
Okay, fine.
And then I will reattack and draw 2 cards.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll let that be fine. Yeah, you can have Dread.
Yeah. So I'm going to place crouch choice is good to go to get. We'll just go get Moses back.
Sure.
Yep, that's good. Here you go.
All right. Well, I've got an Evil Woes that I suppose should just go. Should it go on to Moses? Probably, yeah. So we'll do Moses with woes, and then take the risk, right? Maybe. I'll put down Esther, and we'll put down
This is where we identify the point in the game where things just got weird.
Ugh. I would like to be able to play that, but I don't think I can. Without, I don't know, maybe it'd be okay. You know what? Let's just do it. Gotta risk it for the biscuit, right?
Oh yeah.
Put down Nimrod, put down the Rabshakeh, and I'm gonna play Mayhem.
Okay.
Because I can.
It's not the worst decision to make here.
Yeah.
Drill a soul. I'm gonna get a Priest of Zeus trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kill your woes with it.
Yep, I thought you might. Yeah, because darkness. Yeah. Okay.
I looked at Captain. I really did.
You wouldn't dare. All right. So. Okay. I guess that could work. All right. I'm gonna put down Damascus as a fortress.
You may try anytime you want to, because I won't stop searching.
Good. I'm gonna play my territory class enhancement for turn.
Yeah.
Which is love of money, cannot be negated. So take that.
Oh.
Then I would like to activate Stocks of Flax. I'm going to discard to exchange my Esther with your Samuel. And then
they have 2 turns on them.
Yep.
And that'll be your turns.
Yep. Then I would like to go to battle.
Sure. Things can't get much weirder than this, right?
I am going to taunt with the Rabshakeh. I can equip an evil weapon from reserve, which is going to be Snatch Spear. And I will choose Esther. So you are now protected from evil cards, and it is stalemate.
What are you doing with this?
Are you passing? Or I guess, I don't know, actually, you played the last card in battle, so it would be my initiative.
Yep.
All right. I am going to start by just milling your top 3 cards. Cool.
Okay.
I'm going to...
You pass. That passes.
Yep. Yeah, your initiative.
I'm going to play this and play Storehouse.
Cool. It's fun.
Got to stop the bleeding somewhere. Your niche.
Oh, I guess I should have done this one first, huh? That's unfortunate. All right. I still think I got to do this before that. So let's do turn to Egypt. Can't hit your top, but I will place it on your Priest of Zeus and take it.
Okay.
And then we're gonna hope for the best here. I'm gonna play False Piece. And I think we go with that one, but or we could do that. Oh, yeah, maybe that one's better. Oh yeah, that one's definitely better. All right, I'm gonna grab Better to Be Slaves. Your initiative. There, I guess it was already your initiative. Are you playing anything else?
No.
All right, I'm gonna play Better to Be Slaves. Going to capture these 3 and draw 3.
Okay.
Okay, made some progress here. I would like to play Sennacherib Blasphemes to negate and discard your storehouse. And I will ban to Nimrod the Mighty. Go grab an Assyrian from deck, which will be mounted forces. I will play, or can I just assume that you're F6? Not playing any more enhancements?
Correct.
Okay, I'll discard your top 3 again. Cool. I will then play a Second Coming to go get I think we gotta do Crowd's Choice. I will play it as evil. And I will go fetch pretty sure that's my best option. Yeah. I'm gonna get Betrayal.
Okay.
I will play Betrayal. I'll go to your hand.
Okay. You will be sorely disappointed.
No. That's all right. Still get my 3 cards. That's what we came here for. All right. I will play Foreign Horses. Draw 2. I'll play Mask of Fear. Draw 3. Play 2K Horses to draw 2. Oh, whoops. Drew a lost soul. And a Lawless. Lawless trigger. Or I guess, yeah, don't play. So, Lawless, I will reveal my top 6. I will take Warrior Overtaken. Then I will let's do Heavy Taxes. I will make you discard 2 from hand. And I will draw 2. Let's do Slave to Egypt, hit your top 3. And then I will do
You ever run out of things?
I mean, maybe eventually, but hopefully not anytime soon. Like Clinging to Power, we'll go to deck. And let's see. Probably just do. Oh, yeah, maybe I should have gone to. I'm gonna grab Zara, the Ethiopian advent of battle. He's going to go find me a weapon, which will be Egyptian chariots. And Bantu, a generic warrior, which will be mounted forces. Who will take... let's do destroying bands from reserve. We'll play Egyptian chariots, draw 2. Add a hopper for you. Let's see, discard pile. Okay. I will play Confusion. We'll name Son of God. Hope you're not playing Chariot. That would be weird. Okay. I will play Warrior Overtaken. I guess I maybe should have left some more heroes in territory.
Yep, you gotta eat your own captain for that one.
Yep. We'll grab a Philistine Raiders. Reserve. Sorry, Cap. Add the Raiders. Draw 2. Let's do Delivered. I will activate Given to Egypt. Hit your top card. We'll play Mask of Pride to draw 3. Alright, yeah, I can go to reserve. Alright, I'll play Lurking Bantu Assyrian Officer for my reserve. We'll draw 3. Got a Grumbled.
I'm more than a little incredulous that this is happening on turn 2.
That's what we were going for. I mean, at 71, I was a little concerned, but I did enough test draws where I was like, okay, I feel like this can happen on turn 2, like a reasonable amount of the time. All right, and then
Are there enough cards in the? Are there enough defensive cards in the game to get my deck to 0 at this point?
Because
I feel like that's what you're going for.
I could get close. I don't think I could get all the way through the 18 that are left. Let's see, to figure out if there's anything else to do here. Unfortunately, I think that might be it. Yeah, I kind of ran out of steam a little bit. It's unfortunate.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I think that'll be it. Yeah. So I'll pass.
Good with it.
Cool. Let's equip Zara with foreign horses. That's already equipped. Let's see. We can do Nimrod with Egyptian chariots, and let's do mounted forces with 2K horses. And those are my weapons. All right, let's put down artifact. Put down another artifact. Let's put down 4 living creatures. Let's put down Bearers of the Ark. Joshua the High Priest. And just got the one. Yeah. All right. Then I will pass turn.
Draw cards. Lots of them.
Yay cards.
Case. What?
Said yay cards.
Surreptitious Scheme. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 good dominants in my discard pile.
Seems
you
good.
have.
I've got 2, 3.
So I get to draw 6.
All right. Cool.
Gotta get some cards somewhere. Okay. We're gonna play David's Tent to go to reserve to get David, because gotta have a hero somewhere.
I suppose was the stalemate a successful taunt battle? I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't know if it really matters, but could have taken one of your fortresses, I guess.
Yeah, well, I missed Mount Sinai, so you shouldn't feel too bad. Okay. We're gonna activate David's or Peter's curse. I don't think it matters.
Sure.
We're gonna go Victorious Being to deck, draw 1. Actually, we're not gonna go to deck because I drew what I would go to. So we're gonna go to discard pile. We're gonna get single brigade. There's 1 in the single. Get that. Go to Dreamers. Dreamers is gonna go get Bearing Our Sin, just in case.
Cool. All right, so you're preventing the next and protecting from harm. Yeah, seems like the way to go. Let's block with the Rabshakeh. I would like to underdeck. Protected from harm, so I guess that doesn't include numbers. Yeah, I'll just underdeck hidden 100. Would you like to reveal your hand instead?
Nope.
Cool. I will take begging to go back from my reserve. And it is currently mutual.
Okay. I will Do Not Be Afraid, Love of Money.
Okay. So my initiative then?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I would like to negate that and discard your top 2.
Okay.
Then I will ask for Dominish.
Sure.
Play Gods of Egypt and hit your top 1. And we are, or let's see, you are 15 toughness now.
Yep.
So I believe you, or now it is, wait.
We're in
mutual.
stalemate.
I guess we weren't mutual. It was stalemate. Yeah. Now we're back in stalemate. Yeah.
I will play Fifth Bull to discard Rabshakeh.
Okay. Special initiative. I will play Philosophy to negate that, and we'll take a peek at your hand. Let's get rid of that one. And I am 15, 14.
I am 17 defense.
Okay, so still initiative. Or it's still stalemate.
Yeah, it's still mate. You played last card.
Cool. I will play destroying. Or sorry, did you want to play an enhancement then? Yeah.
No.
Okay. I will play destroying bands. Going to do bring in some fun destroying bands. Mounted forces. I will take bringing grief. And then we'll do, let's see, 2K horses, draw 2. Syrian
I
officer,
concede.
draw 3.
I concede.
Okay, so 5-1.
I mean, that's how it's going to finish. Because you're going to basically you're going to break whatever your offense is trying to do is going to break my defense because I'm a soul high deck with no deck.
Right.
So,
well, okay.
Because I mean, you're gonna kill the streamers, and even if I don't kill the streamers, and I save it with Bearing Arsene, I don't have the resources to punch through whatever this nonsense is.
Yeah, just banding.
Yeah, just the banding. So I mean, this is it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to play it out,
I mean, you do have the resources to just punch through a High Priest Ananias, right?
yeah. I mean, at some point, yeah.
Because I mean, the way I look at it is yeah. I mean, we can play. We'll play. We can play for a whole hour, but there's no point because I'm not even going to be playing a game.
Right. Yeah. Sure. I mean, it's up to you, obviously. So.
I mean, yeah, I concede.
All right, we did it. I think I don't know exactly where I cut off the video there, but Jay and I were talking for a while about the deck and the game, whatever, and basically just going through how I would actually get to 5 with the bearers of the ark, or I guess trumpeting priests, and then the enhancements from reserve, and bringing grief to take out some of his defense in his hand during that last battle. So yeah, I'm sure I would have gotten through eventually. Timing wise, an official tournament, who knows if I would actually be able to get there, but because of Lackey Grand Prix timing rules for a little extra for Lackey and all that kind of stuff, I probably would have gotten there. So Jay conceded to prevent basically just going through the motions of push, soul, whatever, keep going, and so which is totally fine. That's I guess people have different opinions about that, but I think it's fine, especially in a situation like this where it's like there's not really hope, I guess, at the end of the game. So I don't think that's necessarily bad form or anything. So don't no hating in the comments. But yeah, I think I was happy to actually have gotten it in a legitimate game, because it was all gold fishing before this, and I definitely needed a little bit of luck there, as you could see, like both with getting the combo with getting into the Stocks of Flax, getting into Love of Money, having the Rabshakeh in my opening hand, Stocks of Flax and Love of Money both coming in off of Mayhem, triggering a Priest of Zeus that was going to turn off Moses, or turn off my woes to turn Moses back on. So basically it had to be Stocks of Flax or Tribute, exactly. Like I wouldn't have been able to use Offering Your Son or Delivered. Plus, I had to play Love of Money in Territory instead of in battle, because otherwise he would have gotten the Esther trigger to just discard Rabshakeh right there. Having the answer for his Priest of Zeus, that was crazy. I could have actually played that better, though, where if I just used False Peace to go to Better to Be Slaves like I did, and then Better to Be Slaves could have captured Priest of Zeus, and then that way I could have played Turn to Egypt afterwards and still gotten the discard too. Yeah, it didn't really make a difference either way, but I was, could have gotten the extra mill too. So that, might have come up in some world, some game, but overall, I was. Then I guess the luck continued as I was getting those draws. Like the deck is kind of built to be able to hit another drawing enhancement within 2 or 3 cards if you get the right ones, but it's a little bit risky sometimes. And I did end up running out of steam eventually there, as you saw, without getting to Mask of Vanity, Swift Horses, and Struggle Against Saul. Like those were all left in the deck, and so I could have kept going in theory on that first turn, but I don't think I really had any other like damage to do. If I had a way to get out Bringing Grief, then I could have hit something from his hand. But yeah, I wasn't really going to be doing any more milling or any more hand disruption, so it really didn't matter to continue at that point. I guess begging to go back could have been the only other enhancement to do at that point, and I had that that came in handy at the end there, just to basically seal the deal, negate his shuffle, so I could play Philosophy. And yeah, there just wasn't really much left for Jay to be able to do. So that it all came together, and I'm happy. I don't think it's very like if you want to try out this deck, by all means, go for it. Make sure you have a friend that likes you enough to be willing to put up with it. If you do pull it off, and also you have to be willing to put up with it yourself, because odds are you probably won't pull it off, or at least not as quickly like that. And you kind of have to, like, it's obviously best if you do it on turn 2, because then you can actually get the kind of maximum value before your opponent's like all set up. Like they already have their resources, their ways to access cards in reserve, and they have what they need to punch through. Turn 2 means that you actually have a chance of hitting their their dominance and hitting their important offensive and defensive cards before they get set up or kind of established with everything there. So that is that was a game. That was it worked, and I thought it was kind of fun. Maybe this is just a good deck for goldfishing, though. If you want to try it out, you can do some goldfishes at least first, and then maybe you can find someone to try it out with you just for kicks and giggles. But if you're wanting to bring it to a tournament, good luck. That's what I would say. I do think that there is a potentially a 50 card version. I'll probably mention this, or probably will have mentioned this in the intro as well, but a 50 card version with just pale green that can be a little more consistent with the turn 2 and still just do a whole bunch of milling. That could still be pretty good. That could be more viable for a tournament, but still it's a little tough to pull off. You're kind of sacrificing your rescue for the turn by doing the taunt, and that's probably worth it if you're able to chain enough stuff together, but it's a little hard to get enough drawing and enough mill all together. So that would be a little bit of a challenge to get there, but maybe worthwhile to try that out. So anyways, that's where we're going to wrap things up. Thanks to Jay for being a mostly good sport, putting up with pulling off the combo here. And thank you all for watching. We'll catch you all next time.